Welcome to the full book summary of Mark Twain's The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Now, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer basically was published right after The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, the more famous version of the book. Now, Tom Sawyer is a whole book about this guy named Tom who decides, hey, I want to live like Huck. I envy him. He's so carefree. And so he tries to be carefree himself. In fact, at the start of the novel, he is himself is actually whipped. Is threatened to be whipped by his aunt, and his aunt is like, "Hey, I know what that is. It's jam, and I told you several times that you cannot eat jam until I say you can." And so she tries to whip him, but it's like, "Hey, look, there's something behind it," which just turns out is the 1,000th time he's done that. And so she actually believes it for the 1,000th time. And she looks behind her, and then he goes ahead, he runs away, and she's like, what am I gonna do with that boy? I love him, and just that I'm too kind to whip him. I don't know how I'm gonna civilize him. He's always in some kind of mischief. What am I gonna do? And so that happens. Tom decides, I'm gonna skip school again. That happens. And then Tom, yeah, here we go. And then he accidentally fights a bully, and he realizes his aunt's gonna realize that he goes swimming and stuff. He goes fishing, and then finally his aunt's like, "Did you go swimming when you should have been at school?" And he's like, "Oh, I wanted to go swimming, but I had to go to school." And so she's like, checks his collar, it's dry, and she's miracle by that. It's the dry collar trick she never figured out ever. So he could do it several times. Also, I'm pretty sure he just cleans himself, and then puts on his clothes. It would be red still. That happens, and then wow, Tom's a major escape artist. And then next thing that happens is that he finds out about Huckleberry Finn, the model boy of the village, and every boy envies him of his ability to be able to live lazily and carefree without his parents, because his mom's dead, his dad is a drunkard, saying anything about him. So basically, his dad, the only time he got in trouble was when his dad was drunk and tried to kill him. That happens in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. So now Huck's officially homeless. I guess his dad's place is his now, but his dad's place, he has too many memories. So that happens, and Tom goes ahead and meets Huckleberry Finn himself. And Huckleberry Finn himself is a pretty good guy, and Huck is like, yay! He turns out he goes ahead down into the river, and then he strays off into Tom's aunt's place, who actually think he's Tom Sawyer. He acts as Tom, and Huck acts as Tom, and Tom acts as Huck, and they reverse roles for a while. That happens, and the next thing that seems to happen is that the Adventures of Tom Sawyer, of Huckleberry Finn, and there when he just went home and he's adopted to be civilized. However, there's a little gap in between there. So after Huck is kind of adopted and civilized, Tom does his own little adventures. Tom goes ahead and does a scam, which turns out is hilariously stupid, but smart too. He's like, la 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 la, I'm whitewashing this fence. It's not a punishment, it's me doing art. And the other boy's like, hey, you're punished again. Why do you like being punished? Are you mad? You're like, no, I'm not punishing. I'm not being punished. I want to do this. This is art. I'm gonna redecorate the whole village starting with this fence. And hey, let me do art too. I don't know, guys. It's a hard job. Not everyone can be an artist. Let me or else. It's like, sure, but you're gonna have to pay me because this is hard work, and I don't think I can trust you. So you're gonna have to pay me to let you do the job. And it's like, sure. I don't know how that thing works out because they can literally just steal the paint and start whitewashing it themselves. The next thing that happens is this. Lots of other boys seem to happen. They literally pay him with candies and everything. It's like, why, yay, I have the loot, I have scam loot. And he does a scam. None of the boys realize it. They're all brainwashed. And then when his aunt checks back in a few hours, he realizes, it's all done. Yeah, can I go play now? And he's like, yeah, you deserve it. Whole day, play. And then at Sunday school, he's like, hey, hey, I have lots of good loot. And this one is 5 blue tickets. This one's 6. This one's 1 red ticket. This one's the golden ticket. And everyone is like, ooh, okay. Here's the blue tickets. Here's right here. And he exchanges all of his loot for tickets. Now, why would he want tickets? It's not the movie tickets as you're thinking of. It's like tickets that the school give you. They're like these blue tickets, these red tickets, these yellow tickets, and these different color tickets. And each ticket is basically like money. It's like the monetary system of the school. You know, like in jails, like sometimes they use cigarettes as money. Well, here they use tickets as money. Well, the point of the tickets, the original point of the tickets was so that, hey, every time you memorize a verse and say it out loud, every time you memorize 2 verses and say it out loud, here you get a blue ticket. And then, like, if you, after getting a lot of blue tickets, you can go ahead and get a red ticket. If you memorize the whole Bible verses, a lot of verses, each being unique, and then you'll be able to exchange them for the 1 golden ticket, which you will get, which you can exchange for a Bible and honor ceremony where you're honored. And so it turns out at the same time, there's this guy, the headmaster of this, the checker of this Sunday school, the guy who does these random inspections. And then he comes and he's like, "Ooh, nice. This guy has enough tickets." His teacher stuns up because he knows that Tom didn't do all the lines that actually deserve these tickets. But the headmaster, like, he's eager to impress the superintendent by doing the honor ceremony. And the superintendent, like, "Well, good job. I assume you're Thomas Sawyer." Yes. And I'm like, okay, I'm sure you can say the names of all the first 12 disciples of these guys. And can you name the first 2 that were appointed? And he's like, I'm stuck because he obviously can't say that. And then he says the first 2 names that pop into his mind: David and Goliath. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, sure. I might need to change this curriculum a little bit. And that happens. Also, the curriculums never changed in the book. And then Tom Sawyer decides to act on his intentions of his love life. Becky. There's this girl named Becky, and she's hot, and well, at least to him she's hot. Lots of other boys want him too, but he basically flirts with her a little bit, and then finally he gets her to kiss him. And that happens. I'm getting an education right now. That happens, and then, she spurns him because he accidentally revealed he already liked another girl before. That happens, and then she spurns him. A few days later, she's sick. Tom's in depression. Huck and him meet up. They run away to the island together, and then they find with a tag along friend, and then they find out that there's a connection to the outside world. Their home is severed because their raft is destroyed, and they're like, "Yay! Let's party!" And then 3 days later, they feel homesickness. Sickness. They spy on their village, realizing that people think they're drowned during the storm, and they're frantically searching for them, hoping it's not true, especially their aunt. They reveal themselves. They're all sort of in trouble. They got punished, and then, Tom goes and does his, makes up for Becky by getting a whipping for her, saying, "I did it," even though she did it, and so he got the punishment instead of him. And so that happens later in the book. Her dad's proud of Tom, and it's like, "You're gonna be a worthy boyfriend to my girl," because that's an honorable lie. And that happens, and then, I'm not sure Becky's not punished somehow. That happens, and then finally, Indian Joe happens. A few chapters ago, Indian Joe already murdered a guy, and another drunken guy who was witnessing it saw he did it because it was his knife, a guy named Potter. This knife that was used to stab him. He's like, "Did I do it?" "Yeah, you did." "You drunkard?" "No, I'm not gonna tell on you if you'll go away now." Okay. And then the very next day, Indians are like, "Hey, he murdered the guy!" And they're like, wait, I didn't do it! Also, that's kind of true. It's dramatic irony, because he didn't do it. Also, he doesn't know he didn't do it. That is such a messed up idea. That happens. And then the final thing that seems to happen is this. Indian Joe is finally trapped in a cave. Becky and Tom were trapped in the cave for a few days, but Tom somehow navigates them out of the cave, and then the mayor seals the cave shut without Tom knowing for 2 weeks. When Tom finally finds out about the cave being sealed shut, and it's been 2 weeks that it's been sealed shut, he's like, "Indian Joe was in the cave the whole time!" They go back to the cave and find Indian Joe's dead body, and they're like, "Oh, he was in our grasp this whole time. What a shame." And that's where it all ends. And they find Indian Joe's treasure. Huck and Tom, they find Indian Joe's treasure, each getting like about $600, and the whole treasure costing over $12,000. $12,000, meaning they're rich. They have an allowance of $1 a day, and $1 then is basically the same thing as $100 today. That is such a good idea. They're so rich. They basically got a mayor's salary. And finally, Huck tries to get civilized, skips being runs away from being civilized for 3 days, and then comes back after Tom somehow convinces him to be civilized so that he can be part of the robbers gang. And Huck is civilized for at least 1 more month, as far as we know. And then Mark Twain ends the book with this, saying, "This is the history of a boy, not a man. If you're going to talk about the history of a man, you should stop it at marriage. But this is the history of a boy, and you should end it when you know when you can end it best." And that is the end of today's episode. Hope to see you guys soon in the analysis version of this video. Hope to see you guys soon. Shana, peace. Ba 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 bum 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 ba bum 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 ba bum 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 ba ba bum 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 ba 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 bum 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 ba bum 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 bum.